hold on one sec, bro, because I wanted to do an order real quick. I want Cease to go, I want to go, and then I want Jabarti to speak if he has something on this. So when you first came, Lord Messiah, I put an ayat up on this little screen right here because you knew where you were going, and I brought this up specifically for that. There is nothing like unto him. I'm done. Go ahead, Jabarti, if you got something.
I was going to tell you to read in response to what he's thinking is he's being a nepotist. You could respond to him by the verse 2:134, where it says they're a nation that passed away.
Woo. A sniper.
Okay, so check it, right?
No, Israel passed away, Montecito.
Yeah, that was a community that had already gone before. For them is what they earned, and for you is what you have earned. And you will not be accountable for what they have done.
So are they changing the law?
Those people.
Are they changing the law? Because they were talking about the Israelites, right? That was under the Mosaic law. Yeah.
We're talking about people who are worshiping their forefathers. That's not the same as changing the law. That has to do with them doing something they shouldn't have been doing.
Brother, no. Listen what it says. When you have fulfilled your sacred duties, praise Allah as you used to praise your forefathers. It didn't say praise Allah and don't praise your forefathers. And don't say praise Allah, and I don't know why y'all was praising your forefathers, because that ain't right. Praise Allah. Like, come on, it says praise Allah as you used to praise your forefathers. So they're saying in the same, like you said, style of praise, the same style of praise that you praise your forefathers, that's how you praise Allah. So therefore, they're giving the same reverence to Allah as they gave to your ancestors, to your forefathers. Because, like I said, man is Allah.
People did Allah.
No, the Quran just did. The Quran just said that, bro.
Hold up. Because it's late. I'm not trying to keep having to overtalk you.
They're gonna change it up.
So just chill for a minute.
They want to change it up. They're clearly
ready. There is no. Hold up. Like I told you, I already knew where you were going. And this ayat that I pulled up on the screen still addresses what you said. Look, there is nothing like unto him. So those verses, men are not like
all of these verses him. They bring up Allah, there's none like him. Okay, cool, that's great. Type of divinity. But why is Allah telling you to praise me like you praised your ancestors? Or praise your forefathers.
A bunch of things that they shouldn't have been doing.
Regardless of all this stuff they about to say and all these excuses, the Quran tells you
have to know
in Surah 2 and 200, praise Allah like as you used to praise your forefathers. Period.
Pharaohs and things written in the pyramid text.
And in their version, they said before Islam. Bassam, well, who was it? Caesar.
He's up next. He put a hand up.
Okay, I want him to read that verse again when he's done.
So if you go back to that same verse 200, it says to remember. It doesn't mean praise.
See?
Yeah, that's what it says. It says dhikr. Dhikr means to remember, not praise.
All right. So you see what I said before when I said if I ask 1 million Muslims who is Allah, I'll get 1 million Allahs. Now we just read the same verse, right? Now, but hold on.
This is the thing. You're moving the goal when you say you're going to get 1 million Allahs, because all of us so far have completely disagreed with you on the same one thing. Say you'll get 1 million Allahs from a bunch of different Muslims who have all been completely on the same page about what you read is addressing people who are upon falsehood. Kind sir, I'm telling you, nobody here has given you a different Allah. We've all disagreed with you on the verse you brought up. That's completely, do you understand that what Allah is completely different from you getting, I don't honestly think that you even know enough Muslims to ask them that. Like, you talking about 5%ers, you talking about Kuwans, you talking about more science people, maybe they'll give you different answers. But in the world of the people following the Sunnah, when it comes to people in Saudi Arabia, Algeria, Morocco, Indonesia, Malaysia, when you talk about the Tajiks, the Turkmens, the Uzbeks, none of them will give you a different answer, sir. Sudanese, Egyptians.
Okay, so
So
now,
go ahead, Jabarti.
all right, so
Go ahead,
now,
Jabarti.
so now, think about this. 3 of y'all just read the same verse, right? And y'all had different wordings. In fact, the reason why I like
No.
hold on 1 second, let me respond. Y'all all just had different
But
wordings.
listen,
And in fact, I wanted Caesar to read his verse because I liked his verse. His verse is better than the one I got. The one I have, it says, because it
you're
justifies
talking
my
about
point
our wordings.
better. Yeah,
We
exactly.
all addressed what you said. We
Brother,
all addressed what you
I
said.
got you. I got
But
that
we
point.
all. Well, wait.
It's supposed to be my turn to
This
respond.
is not different Allahs. Me going to one verse and Jabarti going to another verse. We're still coming to you from the Quran. We all disagreed with you. We all knew it was wrong. We all knew that nobody's being told to worship their ancestors, and this doesn't make anyone like Allah. And like I said, before you even brought it up, and you mentioned the whole thing about bow down to men, that's why I pulled up this ayat to show you Allah is not like any of his creation. And this isn't the only ayat that says that.
All right.
Go ahead, Jabarti. And then we'll go to Bassam.
I want to say, I don't know where you get the idea that there's potentially different Allahs, but let's go back to, the time when there was Arabs was worshiping 360 gods, one for each day. Even those 360 idols weren't being always worshipped. They weren't always there. And so what was being worshipped is now the question. If those idols was not there, and those idols, they don't have a primordial origin. They came in at least within the almost 100 years before Prophet Muhammad was born. They weren't even really pagans as they were until Prophet Muhammad even came.
Now, he said because it wasn't there. Now, when I say Islam wasn't there, like the verse just said, so they couldn't have been praising Allah, they're going to say, no, it was there.
They became corrupted.
They be making excuses, man.
Multiple gods. Allah cannot be equivalent to 3 moon goddesses because those 3 moon goddesses never existed until 100 years before Prophet Muhammad came, which means they're not even ancient gods.
Before.
They're made up.
But they came 100 years before Muhammad, so they're more ancient than Muhammad's God, obviously.
No, that's
because what was wait, hold
they're
on.
100 years more older than Allah.
What was Muhammad's father worshiping? And what was his name?
His name was bro.
Exactly.
Do you know his name? Do you know his name?
No, I don't know. No.
Ah. Okay. So
you'll know that there is no evidence in the history of his Prophet Muhammad's tribe of worshiping idols. They never went to Hubal and Allah and all these cursed idols that mean nothing. Never went to them, give them offerings, or even called upon them. His father's name was Abdullah. No idol worshiper was in his bloodline. The only person that came in as an idol worshiper was Abu Lahab. You know how he became an idol worshiper? How he began? Because there was the Umayyads that he married, a woman named Jamila. She was from the Umayyad tribe. Abu Lahab then converted to her ways and started worshiping idols and became the enemy of Prophet Muhammad, who was his uncle. They weren't in their origin of his tribe, never worshipped idols. Neither his father is an evidence that his fathers ancestrally were worshiping one God.
So question, before Islam, did they use words like Bismillah, Hamdulillah, Astaghfirullah, Inshallah? Did they use these terms before Islam? Because
they use the terms in other languages, yes.
Oh, other languages. So then you might get different.
And they don't sound.
Then you might get different names, though. But technically, you might get different names and words, right? In different languages, right?
No, absolutely not.
So all languages are the same now? Come on, bro, stop it. All languages are not the same.
Hold on, bro. Listen, like
they may have similarities.
No.
And derivatives, but they're not exactly the same.
I need you to pay attention. We're talking about Semitic languages, 3 that are very close, which is Hebrew, Aramaic, and Arabic.
Okay.
These 3 languages are so close that Bismillah in Hebrew is Bismillah in Arabic, and I don't hear how you can confuse those in any way and say that they come out to something different. Bismillah does not sound that different from Bismillah.
The reason why
when it comes to this whole thing, hold on. So when it comes to this whole thing of who they were praising, yes, it was the same God even before then. And you know, this is the whole thing. When I say we don't follow Elijah Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam is Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Mm-hmm. So when Sheikh Jabarti just asked you about his father's name, it's in the Prophet's name.
Yeah, you just reminded me.
Ibn Abdullah.
Thank you.
So when it comes to this whole thing of whether or not they were idol worshippers and if they were worshiping Allah, it would be clear if you knew the name.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Eid Mubarak, sister.
All right, so the reason why I asked is because if Islam wasn't around and they were not praising Allah specifically, like, was the word Allah around before they started worshiping Allah? You know what I'm saying? Because if so, then why weren't they worshiping Allah? If the word and they knew what Allah meant before Islam came, then they still should have been praising Allah. Before even Islam.
Let me just tell you one thing. In the Quran,
do y'all understand the question though? Do y'all understand the statement?
Wait, Bassam, before you go on to that, let me answer his question first and then go. So the reason it's evident that people were worshiping him and what the problem was is because that's what I was just saying to you about the Bible, where there's a common theme. They continue to associate partners with Allah. That's what they keep getting punished for.
The Quran does that too.
So yes, there were people. Hold on. This whole thing with the three goddesses in Mecca, that's what that whole thing was about. They're still trying to say Allah has a wife. They're still trying to say Allah has kids. They're trying to turn Allah into a human. And which is not too far from what people are trying to do when they say they're Allah, that they have all the same capabilities. So this is exactly what's been done throughout history. These people associating partners, and that was the issue. So people were worshiping Allah before.
Okay, so why did
Bassam is up next.
All right.
I wanted to respond to you, Lord Messiah. I don't know what you mean by worshiping Allah as in the name Allah, quote unquote, because Allah did mention in the Quran that he said to Prophet Muhammad, he said in general, he said that we have not sent any prophets to any nation except they speak their language, right? So I'm probably assuming from that they might have mentioned Allah as in that they are the slaves of Allah and Allah is, God, the creator, but with their language, right? So for example, if somebody is worshipping Allah and he worships himself as Allah, and somebody says, I don't know who Allah is, but I worship God alone, meaning the Most High, the Supreme Being, right? Now that person is Muslim, not the other person who worships Allah and he calls himself Allah, because he's now according to the Quran, like Ayatul Kursi, the Surah Ikhlas. Now he's a mushrik, he's a pagan, and the name's not going to help you. What's going to help you is if you're a monotheist, you worship one God alone, and you don't associate partners with him. Just because you're using the name Allah, it doesn't mean that you're worshipping the right God, because Allah did say in the Quran that the Jews have said, right? None of the Jews, the Christians have said that Jesus is Allah. Just because, so now, the good thing is that the Christians, they don't come and tell us today that even Jesus is Allah, right? And when we say that we worship the Creator, they don't even say that we're worshiping God, which is a good thing, because imagine the Christians go around today and say, oh, Jesus is Allah. It's going to be awful. So I don't know, because you're looking at the name. I'm saying you look at the concept of monotheism, worshiping Allah alone, and associating partners.
All right.
I mean,
even the pagan.
All right. I want. Yeah, go ahead.
They have stuff of Allah. They just associate them with the other gods that they worship, or the other idols that they worship. Instead of giving all due or all praise to him, they gave the one for wealth this praise, and they gave the one for this praise. But Allah was a deity in their society also. It wasn't like he was just some unknown.
All right, so let me respond to that. Bassam left. All right, so check it, right. So when it comes to the mono,
No. I know.
all right. So when it comes to the monotheism concept, right? Understand, Surah 262 says those who believe and those who are Christians, Jews, and Sabians, those who believe in God and who act right shall get their reward with their Lord and won't be afraid or sad. What won't they be afraid or sad of? Surah 572 says, anyone who puts anyone with Allah, Allah will deny access to the garden. His shelter is fire. So in other words, if you put anyone with Allah, you go into hell basically. So the Christians who put three gods in one, they're supposed to be going to hell because they're putting other gods with the Almighty God, right? You know, and anybody else who does that, right? So now, one thing I wanted, but however, so and if that's the case, then why would it then say also that those who are Jews, Christians, and Sabians, and those who, well, not even why, because I don't even want to open up a can of worms for excuses. It should not say then those who are Christians, Jews, and Sabians, those who believe in God and who act right will get their reward with their Lord. And the point of them saying their Lord, and once again, that there means like, if I have a Lord and you have a Lord, it's not the same Lord, because then there's no need to say my Lord and your Lord. We would say our Lord. But when you say their Lord, then obviously that's their God, the God that they acknowledge. It's not the same God as you. So when the Holy Quran is saying they will get their reward with their Lord, and remember, Allah is supposed to be Lord of all the worlds. So then I don't understand how there can be a world that the Christian, Jews, and Sabians.
So you just answered
I'm gonna land my plane. 1 second, I'm gonna land my plane. I don't understand how there could be a world where the Jews, Christians, and Sabians are in, where Allah is not the Lord of that world, because He's supposed to be Lord of all the worlds. But in this world that the Jews, Christians, and Sabians are in, they're gonna get their reward with their Lord and won't be afraid or sad. Somebody make that make sense.
So you just answered your own question.
How?
To Allah belongs everything in the heavens and in the earth. So there is no other Lord. A true Jew would be worshiping Allah without associating partners. A true Christian, being that according to the Bible, Jesus said something along
It doesn't
the
say
lines of,
they will get their
"Why do you
reward
call me
with
good?
Allah."
No one is good but God alone.
It says their
Jesus
Lord.
had
So
no
obviously
God.
their Lord
So
is
if
not
someone
Allah,
is
because otherwise would have
actually a
said they'll get their
Christian,
reward
meaning
with
they're following
Allah.
Christ, then
Come
they would
on,
have
man.
the same one God that He has, and they wouldn't be associating partners, because if they were a Jew prior to that, they would know that's the reason they were punished every single time they were punished. When it comes to the Sabians, does anybody want to speak on the Sabians, or should I do it? You can go Caesar, Bassam, or Jabarti. Anybody want to pick this one?
I can do little bro. I can go
Get
to the
him, bro.
last. Okay, when it comes to the Sabians, who are the Sabians? Anybody know? Good.
Ooh, I have a suggestion. Could it be those people in Yemen?
They could be. And who did the Sabians follow, brother?
I don't know. That's a tough one for me. Maybe Lord Messiah.
Lord Messiah. Who are the Sabians? Who did they follow?
I don't know who the Sabians followed. Tell me. They followed Dr. Sabi.
No.
I don't know who the Sapiens are. I think they're you mean the Sa'ibun or something?
No,
The
sir.
Sabians.
The Sabians. Those are the Sabians. The Sabians are the followers of John the Baptist.
Yeah, Sabion, Yaki.
Hold on, wait. I'm gonna address what Lord Mas in that verse 9:195 says they will have the reward with their Lord. It doesn't say that. Arabic is and if you read in Arabic, right, it says it will be actually properly translated as and it says Allah. So you can't say, oh, their Allah and our Allah. There's two different Allahs. It doesn't even make sense in Arabic, because if you read it, it says أنهم سيئاتهم ولا أدخلهم جنات تجري من تحت أنهار أبوابا من عند الله والله أحسن التقوى. translates to, I will most surely remit them for their evil deeds, and will surely admit them into gardens between which rivers flow, a recompense from Allah, for with Allah is the excellent recompense. So it's not saying with their, it's not like possessive to say that something belongs to them in distinction to other people. There is no distinction like that in Islam.
Okay.
No.
So all right.
No.
So let me
Arabic
let me
context. I
Go
just
ahead.
wanted to add something about Arabic context. In Arabic, usually, what the subject of a sentence is, like once that's stated, it's consistent throughout that sentence. So what he's saying is correct. I mean, this is one of the beautiful things about Arabic, and this is also why when it comes to translations, I often ask people to check out the Clear Quran, because contextually it reminds people what the context is. And those things in brackets will be a reminder of what the context is, which a native Arabic speaker would already know. Well, go ahead.
All right. So now also too, when they say about the monotheism, right? And I guess like y'all making it seem like, oh well, we respect the Jews and the Christians, they're monotheistic or whatever. Let me tell you what the Holy Quran says in Surah 2 and 120. It says the Jews and the Christians will never be pleased with you until you follow their faith. Now, does that there mean Allah's faith? Because obviously that wouldn't mean the same thing, because if you follow in Allah's faith, then they would be pleased with you. But it says the Christians and the Jews and the Jews and the Christians will never be pleased with you until you follow their faith. O Muhammad, tell them Allah's guidance is the only guidance. And if after all the knowledge you have received, you yield to their desires, there shall be none to protect you, to help you from the wrath of Allah. So in other words, you going to hell too if you don't if you fall victim to the Jews and the Christians, basically, and you fall to their ways, to their desires. So then it says, and this kind of fulfills what the brother was just saying too. It says, to whom we have given the book and who read it as it ought to be read, they are the ones who believe in it. As those who reject it, they are for sure the losers. So in other words, basically, I always say too, if we gonna read the Quran, then I guess we all gotta learn Arabic and read it in Arabic and understand it in Arabic, because otherwise all these other translations, we gonna be going back and forth, because no, in my version it says this, in your version it says that, and no, in my book it says this. So I'm like, come on, we gotta get the pure Arabic version and then just do it like that. That's the only way we can do it. Because other than that, you're gonna have to understand that these English versions are gonna have different wording.
That's why when we pray, we don't use the translation. We pray in Arabic.
And to be honest though, like that's always the goal. That's why so many and I won't just say English, so many translations of the Quran have the Arabic in it. That should be the goal of everybody. I mean, even when it comes to the Bible, there's issues if you start talking in English. So when one of us goes to the Arabic, or even when it comes to a Bible debate, one of us goes to the Hebrew, you can't be mad when we start going to the Arabic. If you disagree, we got to know the Arabic. So when it comes to what you just said, I'm going to because I know the kid put a hand up, and I know Caesar has something to say, so I'll let them get back to your point about that ayah you just put.
And Surah Baqarah, what you just read, ayah 187. And I'm going to do this in Brother Malcolm. What was the context, brother, of that ayah? The floor is yours. It's some good talk.
This context says, Jews and Christians will never be pleased with you. And then it goes on to say, this is the last, this is in Surah, this is in Al-Baqarah 120. The Jews and Christians will never be pleased with you until you follow their faith. O Muhammad, tell them Allah's guidance is the only guidance. And if after all the knowledge you have received, you yield to their desires, there shall be none to protect you or help you from the wrath of Allah.
So
This
give me
is
the context. So what is the understanding of the ayah?
So
like what's
if
happening
you was
between
listening,
those Jews and Christians and Muslims?
obviously they don't see eye to eye, and basically Allah is saying that if you yield to their desires, there will be no protection from you from his wrath. So, but what I'm saying is, though, that's contradictory, because now it also says in other verses that these people, because they put rivals with Allah or partners with Allah, they're gonna burn in hell. But then other versions say, well, if they believe in God and act right, and saying they'll get their reward with their Lord and won't be afraid or sad. So it's like, which one is it? Are they gonna burn in hell, or they gonna get their reward with their Lord and be cool and chilling? Like, what's good?
The Christians that you're bringing up in this context, they are opposing Islam. It's not like they are worrying about what God has directed for them. They're not even focused on that. Their focus is to extinguish Islam, in a sense. So it's telling you that these people won't stop until you come into their fold. But it's not saying that all of the people who follow Judaism or Christianity are like this. There are people of the book who are described as being people who wholeheartedly accept Islam, or who wholeheartedly accept Allah. So it's not like these are contradictory aspects. These are talking about specific people who he's interacting with at this time. That's why he's given a command to tell them something.
Now, let me get you an understanding of this. When you look at the ayah 187, he's talking about their desires. Is you're talking about the desires of the Creator, or they're talking about the desires what they feel in those revelations of their own, on their own will and their own hand. When you look at the past prophets, like Prophet Isa, did he not say in the Bible, Prophet Isa, upon him tell the Jews that they put back their own traditions with the Mosaic law and came on to their own whims and ways? Yes. Did those prophets tell them, so you're putting down what I put in this revelation, so you want me to follow you, but your books have been changed. That's all they're saying. The desire is not the will of Allah. So they're talking about the wills that they put in their books that they created for themselves, and that's all it's saying in all the context. It's not just the desires of them. They're not doing the desires of the Creator. They're the desires of man. And when you look at it, you have to understand, because they're not following the right way. Even at the time of Isa, they weren't following the right way. He was sent to help the children of Israel. It gives you in Matthew 15. He was sent to what? The lost sheep of Israel. But the Jews were still doing what they wanted to do, how they wanted, because they became corrupt. Because they was in the back pocket of the Romans. You see what I'm saying? So when you get a full scope of what's going on, all they're saying is, oh, you're not following you, Muhammad. We don't see that. He even tells you in other ayahs that can arrive all the way back to Al-Baqarah. They changed the book with their own hands for a price. They did it in the time of Prophet Isa, peace be upon him. They did it in the time of Moses, peace be upon him. Moses, when he came with the revelation, did they not follow did they not go to their own image? Yeah. So all they're saying is they're not following the will of the law or the Creator. They're following what they want to follow. Period, point blank. That's it. They weren't following the right way. Now, there were Jews, Christians, and Sabians that were following the right way, but mostly they only followed what they changed. They didn't have the original revelation. It's what they came up with and what they wanted to do. Period. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so when it says Allah's guidance is the only guidance. But also in the Quran, it refers you back to those other books too. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the Quran is the only guidance. But also now when it says you yield to their desires, yielding to their desires also meaning like to deal with them. Like I'll tell you this right now, 2023, there are Muslims that be buying meat from the Jews, and they buy so-called kosher, you know, food items from the Jews, and that is forbidden in the Quran. Not supposed to do business.
No,
not supposed to do business with the Jews.
The Quran,
We're not supposed to do
Quran
business with them.
States that we can. What's permissible for them is permissible for us. When it comes to diet, we can eat their food.
Wow.
This is why context matters. This is why you gotta get into
Bro,
the series. You gotta know what's happening.
Listen. Hold on. As far as doing business with them, they might eat some of the same foods you eat, but are you supposed to do business with them to even get a chance to eat that food? No. See, that's what I'm saying. If you didn't do business with them, how did you get it? Did they charity? Did they donate it to you? Oh, here, Muslims have this food. No, you bought it from their markets, which is haram.
I'm going to let Bassam answer it, and I'm going to let Tabarki follow up.
Okay. Now, there's a bunch of things that you're doing wrong, Lord Messiah. It's just not you. It's also in general. And even when you do these wrong things in combination, it's even wrong itself. So
yeah,
we talk about context. We talk about knowing Arabic, this, that. All right. When it comes to the Quran, you don't even need anyone to even give you the context of the verse. There's another way to get the context of the verse by just only looking at the verse by cross-referencing. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, if somebody goes to the Quran and he says, I am not going to cross-reference, I'm only going to use this verse as a pinnacle to build up a whole foundation. I never interrupted you. We let you speak. Don't worry. You speak the most in this panel, by the way. So you should give me the little chance. And I spoke the least. One of the least. When it comes to the Quran verses, if you take the Quran as a perfect book and you know it's perfect, then it's perfect enough to cross-reference it with other verses. Now, when it comes to the Bible today, there are some verses that are correct. Depends. For example, which verse you're looking at. So if there's a verse that says pay charity or be kind, or it says the Father is the most supreme, or anything like that, there's even Muslims who use verses from the Bible to prove to Christians that there's only the Father is the God, and that Jesus is not the God in this verse, right? But with the Quran, it's different. And it's also different because you also believe in it and you use it as a reference, right? So the one who's better than you is the one who's able to align with most of what the Quran is saying, which is worship Allah alone. Allah is the most exalted. Allah is the one that will be the only judge in the hereafter, right? Allah is the most powerful. Allah says, for example, that La ilaha illa al-aziz al-hakim. There is no Lord besides him. And Allah doesn't just say to us, worship Allah alone, and we don't know anything about him. He actually gave descriptions that only is for God, only for Allah. The moment he goes, La ilaha illahu, there is no Lord beside him except him, the most wise. Al-Aziz, the most exalted, the most wise. So, and Allah also said in one of the verses, the only sin that he will not forgive is if you associate partners. Allah also mentioned verses in the Quran clearly where you're not allowed to worship people. I'll get them for you, don't worry. Allah also mentioned verses about those who you call besides Allah, call them, ask them, and see if they will respond to you, right? Who is able, because Allah is the most powerful, He is the one who's able to punish because of as much as powerful as He is, and award those who were oppressed in this life and punish those who were the oppressors in this life. And he's so powerful that he can even give you an award, no matter how much hardship or how much worship you did. He's always so there's so many things that is very unique, not just to like from the Islamic perspective, even in general outside Islam. If we were to look at who is the most wise, who is the most exalted, it cannot be anyone other than God that can have those descriptions. That is outside Islam. That's who God should be anyway. But then in Islam, that's who Allah is. So
excuse me.
Imagine somebody
one second, Bassam.
What does it seem like when somebody uses a verse from the Quran and it doesn't align with the rest of the verses in the Quran, and he's only using that? Then we can put the argument and say he has an agenda.
What does the word
book,
Ali mean?
Especially when you say you follow that book.
Bassam, what does the word Ali mean?
Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Allah never
Don't switch it up. Don't switch it up. What does Ali mean?
Ali just means
A-L-I.
Ali just means above, or it means high.
Sure.
But
I thought it meant one worthy of praise.
Sorry?
I thought Ali meant one worthy of praise.
No, praise is praise in the one al-mahmud or al-hamid is the one who's always is the one who's praised.
He's asking you when we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Allah the Most High.
Yeah. Right.
That's what he's asking.
No, I'm asking what is the meaning of the word Ali? And the word Ali means one worthy of praise.
Yeah, but in English,
and that's why I was like, don't
Allah
switch it up, because he was like, oh, the one, the most high. What'd you say, Bassam? The one at the top or something like that. What'd you say? He tried to switch it up.
Above. But
above, one
name,
above. Okay. So above, what does above mean?
I think one of Allah's name is what you're talking about, which is the most praised.
Oh, most praised. So Ali means most praised. You know, there are men on the planet with the name Ali. Oh no, come on. Ali, what does Ali mean? Ali, what does Ali mean? A-L-I. Exalted. Okay. Okay, so therefore, there are men on the planet with the name Ali. So they are exalted? These are exalted men? Why they got the name Ali? That should be forbidden. That's haram. You can't have the name Ali.
Named Latif. There's women named Latifa. There's men named Latif.
And Rahim and Rahman.
Right, Rahman.
Yeah, exactly. So how could you name yourself after the names of Allah? That's forbidden. That's making yourself a partner with Allah. That's making yourself a partner with Allah. That's setting up rivals with Allah.
They don't have the alif and the lam. The alif and the lam at the beginning of Rahim and Al-Rahim.
Al-Rahim means
the most merciful. Oh, Al-Aziz, the most exalted. But if your name is just Aziz, you're allowed.
Aziz means mighty. Aziz means mighty.
Like your name is not
almighty.
Exalted.
Aziz is almighty, not exalted.
Okay, tell me one thing. I've got one Arabic question for you. What is the difference between Al-Aziz and just Aziz by itself?
The mighty. Aziz is mighty. Al-Aziz is the mighty, or the almighty.
Exactly. Allah never said his name is Aziz. He said, my name is, all of his names has Al. Right? For example, there's a brother in here. His name is Wahid, right? But his name is not Al-Wahid, which is like the most independent, all the single. So imagine somebody says, I am Abd Wahid. You can't. That's not the slave.
There's a Muslim on here with the name
single.
Something Allah.
Abdul,
there's a Muslim on here with the last name Allah.
No, Allah is unique. Allah is unique. Allah is unique.
Yeah, you got a Muslim name. I ain't gonna say his name, but
there are some names that they can't use it, like everlasting and ever living and needlessness is what I mean. You can't use these names. And Khalik, the creator, no one's named Khalik, creator. No one's named that.
What about, you say Khalik or Khalid? I mean,
Khalik means the creator.
So what about DJ Khaled? We the best. He Muslim too.
Not
So
Khalid. I said Khalid. Khalid.
Khalid.
K-H-L-A-L-I-Q.
Okay.
Not Khalid.
So, for example,
Khalid said
when
we the
you
bad.
create something in real life, you're the creator of it, right? But when Allah says that He is the creator, He means in everything, absolutely. It doesn't matter what the creator, the exalted, right? But for example, Allah, for example, mentioned when Moses, split the ocean, Allah said He describes things, right? For example, His name's Al-Mubin, right? Or something special. But then Allah can say about an event that did occur and say it's special, but it's not the special.
Okay. All right. So the thing I was saying before was that basically when it states in the Quran about the Christians, the Jews, the Sabians, and whatnot, well, specifically more so the Jews and the Christians, it tells them basically that they must study their book basically. So it says though. Hold on a second. Okay, it says the Christians have no ground to stand upon. Hold on, let me get this that verse. Oh my God,
Yeah, so there's many names of Allah that humans don't have.
All right, here we go. Surah 5 and 68. Christians have no ground to stand upon unless they stand upon the Torah, gospel, revelation that has come to them. Those who do not judge by what Allah has sent down are rebellious. So, in other words, if the Jews don't go according to the Torah, they're being rebellious. If the Christians don't go according to the gospel, they're being rebellious. So, if the Muslims, or if there are Muslims out here that are trying to, convert Christians and Jews to being Muslims, they're not supposed to do that. The Jews are supposed to stay Jews and read according to what Allah sent down to what has been sent down to them, and the Christians are supposed to stay with the gospel and what was sent to them. So they're not supposed to become Muslim. They're supposed to stay Christian and Jews. You know what I mean?
What was that verse?
That was Surah 5 and 68. And then it says, in 547 says, therefore let those who follow the gospel judge according to what God has revealed in it. Those who do not judge by what God has sent down are rebellious. So the gospel, they're supposed to follow the gospel. The so-called Christians, they're supposed to follow the gospel, and the Jews supposed to follow the Torah, and the Muslims supposed to follow the Quran.
The Injil.
Okay.
Yeah. Injil, right? Exact, right. The Injil, right. They supposed to follow that.
The people of the book. It's saying that the people of the book have nothing to stand on unless they observe the Torah, the gospel, and what has been revealed to you from your Lord.
Right.
So they have to follow all three of those things. And then it goes on to say, and your Lord's revelation to you, O prophet, will only cause many of them to increase in wickedness and disbelief. So it's going to be hard for them to uphold all three of these things.
So listen to that. So look. So if they were told to study those three things, and then they're gonna be mad at Muhammad for coming with his revelation. But wait a minute, wasn't they praising Allah and doing the same thing that or matter of fact, as y'all say, they were Muslims. So if they were Muslims, why would they be mad at Muhammad all of a sudden when he just bringing a new revelation from Allah? They should all be in line. They was all Muslims, right?
If they were to accept it, then there would be no problem.
What do you mean accept it?
If they don't accept it, if they don't accept it, then that shows something internally that they're fighting. They don't want it to be this Arab man or this poor man or this person who's taking away the wealth that I was getting from selling idols. You know what I'm saying? whatever the case is.
So how do we know that they were Muslims, right? Because Jesus said, the one true God, and Jesus whom you have sent, which means he was a person sent by the one true God. In all of those teachings, it's a reference to the one true God, worshiping that one true God.
Okay.
And all the prophets before, they called people away from idols, back to the one true God. So if they're following the truth that's in their scriptures, they would be following Islam. There's nothing about Islam for them to reject unless they're under the impression that Jesus is God or some other thing that was planted in at a different time.
Okay. So if it's the one true God, right? Then when it says those who believe and those who are Christians, Jews, and Sabians, those who believe in God, it don't say the one true God, but those who believe in God and who act right shall get their reward with their Lord. It doesn't say shall get the reward with the Lord, because if it's only one Lord, there should be no differentiation. There creates a differentiation. It's not a word that says like, oh, this is our. Our means all inclusive. It's all of our Lord. It's our Lord.
So you
Their
know
Lord.
Translation in Arabic works differently,
Here
right?
we go. The translation.
One
So
thing,
when
Lord
you-
Messiah, if you're talking about a bunch of group of people, how would you say their Lord? Would you say your Lord, but then they're not in front of you, right? So
I would say the Muslims believe in Allah. The Jews believe
let's say
in
now, us
Jehovah.
Muslims,
The
like,
Christians believe in
we're talking about
God.
their Lord is with them.
Buddhists believe in
How
Buddha.
would we say that in English, right? How would we say that
Their Lord is with them.
without it being another Lord?
Bro, that's what exactly. If you wouldn't be able to, that's what it means. If you're saying their Lord, that means it's obviously a different Lord from whatever Lord you may have, because you're saying their Lord. Like if you're a Muslim, you say my Lord is Allah, and then you say the Jews. It says in my book that the Jews, they shall have their reward with their Lord. So then someone would logically conclude that the Lord of the Jews and Christians is not Allah.
Who's it referring to?
Exactly. Come on, any logical person would understand that.
Muslim.
But y'all want to twist it.
No. Who did throughout the Quran? Who did Allah say is the Lord of the Christians or the Jews?
What? Who does Allah say is the Lord of the Jews? Who? If it's not a, who? Tell me who. I want to know who. I don't know who.
All right. It's Allah. Allah in other verses in the Quran mentioned that He mentioned about the Christians and the Jews in other verses where it didn't look like another kind of Lord except the same Allah, the same Lord from the first surah, the same verse. It says Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, all praise to Allah, Lord of all the worlds, right? That same Allah, when he was talking about the Christians, or the Jews, or when he cursed the Jews that did say something, or when Allah is angry at the Christians, who is Allah angry at? The Christians about the wrong things they say about Jesus as Lord, God, and this and that. And Allah says they have disbelieved, right? So now forget you only using that verse to use it with whatever translation you have. Just cross-reference it to other verses in the Quran.
Bro, what have you been hearing me do all night? Cross-reference. This verse says this. This verse says that. That's called cross-referencing. Have you not heard me doing that the whole time?
Yeah, but then if I was to use that,
but the thing is,
of the verse you gave,
when I show the cross-referencing, my cross-reference might show a contradiction, and that's why we going back and forth, because you're trying to justify the contradiction. But it's okay.
No. You're contradicting by only using one verse. You don't want to cross-reference.
All right. So let's do this. Let me give you the creation challenge. All right. So let me ask you this first before I even give you the verses. All right. You still want to? All right.
We'll get to the stuff that you got from answeringislam.com.
Yeah, not even. But
So
yeah,
have you finished that topic? What conclusion did you? So are you
I
going to
mean,
cross-reference? Or you're not going to cross-reference?
basically, this is what I've been telling y'all the whole time is that when the verse
What?
said, when the verse said before, the ayah said before that this is what Muhammad, I mean, this is what Abraham left to his sons, and so did Jacob. Allah has chosen the faith for us. Therefore, then die not except in the faith of Islam. So, therefore, that's Abraham and Jacob telling them that. But yet in the Torah, they were not Muslim in the Torah. So this is what I'm trying to say. If the Quran is referring to these past books, they tell you to go back and study. And in these past books, the Christians were not Muslims. The Jews were not Muslims. And the Sabians were not Muslims. And whoever else were not Muslims. So therefore, then in these books, like let's say the Torah, there's an Adam in the Torah. There's an Abraham in the Torah, a Joseph, a Jacob, all these people in the Torah, right? Same people that's in the Quran. But in the Torah, they were Jews. But then in the gospel, they were not Christians, but they bear witness to the gospel of Isa, of Jesus Christ, rather I say. Then all of a sudden in the Quran, there's another Adam that was Muslim. There's another Abraham that was Muslim. There's another Jacob and all these other people that were all of a sudden now Muslim. But yet in the Muslim book called the Quran, they refer to these other books, and in those books they're not Muslim. But then in your book they're Muslim. See what I'm saying? Make that make sense.
No,
that does not make sense.
Okay, now let me tell you something. What
Yeah,
did Jesus preach in the Quran?
Tell me something. I just told you. In the Quran. Jesus didn't preach anything in the Quran. Like we just said before.
To worship the one true God.
His preachings was the Injil.
Jesus. Same goes for every other person. So they were Muslim according to the Bible. You wouldn't have to be a Muslim to see that these people believed in one God, and every time they didn't, every time they worshiped the gods of other people, every time they associated partners, they got punished. You can be a Jew, an atheist, a magician, Michael Jackson. You could be anybody and see that same theme happens all throughout the Bible. So they were Muslim. You wanted to see the word Muslim? They were obviously in submission to the will of Allah. How do we know that? Because every time some people got out of submission to the will of Allah, they got punished.
I thought Allah is all forgiving.
As far as contradiction thing, right? This is the thing. Their Lord is not a different Lord. From the beginning of the Quran to the end, it addresses every single time people fell into disbelief, and then it goes back to the same thing. Even for the people who are star worshippers, the Lord of that star that you worship, Lord of that star is the one you're dealing with right now.
All right.
Those people that worship the pharaohs, you thought the sky was going to cry for these pharaohs? The sky and the earth won't weep for you.
So then I guess
everybody gets addressed.
So I guess in the Quran,
everything in the heavens and everything on the earth bows down to Allah. And that's the theme of the Quran, and it's consistent. Now, if you look at the Bible, there's a whole bunch of people mentioned. There's a whole bunch of gods mentioned. And every time people start worshiping them, they get stomped out like cockroaches. And they got to start from scratch.
All right. So John the Baptist in the Quran, I guess he was baptizing people in the name of Allah, not in the name of Jesus Christ. I guess that story got changed up, right, to fit the Muslim narrative.
There's no story in the Quran that said John the Baptist was in there even baptizing anybody. The name John the Baptist isn't even in there. It says Yahya.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. So that's why when y'all said the Sabians were the followers of John the Baptist. So I'm saying, okay, if that's the case, then the Sabians, they were being baptized in the name of Allah, or were they being baptized in the name of Jesus Christ?
Their doctrine even surrounds.
Yeah, because in the Bible it says John the Baptist baptized people in the name of Jesus Christ. So now all of a sudden in the Quran he's baptizing people in the name of Allah.
That's That's
There's
coming
nowhere
from
in
a narrative that's not even completely
So
Christian, because the New Testament is an amalgamation of Greek philosophy and Jewish writings. So
and
portions of it have pieces of stuff about the Messiah, but there's a bunch of things from Greek philosophy
and the
that they tied
Quran
in
is
as
an
well.
amalgamation of Kemetic
So
writings
you can't say
and
word for word
all of
that
that
every
shit
single
too.
part of that text is what Jesus would have taught when he wasn't a Greek philosopher. That baptism thing, who does that connect to?
That goes back to Horus being baptized with the water, you know. But you know that comes way before Christianity, Judaism, Islam, all of that. That's way before all of that.
My point was that that's not part of the Abrahamic faith, right?
Yeah, but
How many people were
all of that
baptized
stuff
before
was
the New
copied
Testament? How many
from.
people were baptized?
Listen. Hold on. The question is that how come everybody in the
Wait.
Bible and
We talking
Quran
about
went to
Jewish
Egypt?
tradition and what actually would have been something that they did.
Yeah,
And we're explaining why
Abraham
baptism wasn't part of that. Who before the New Testament was baptized?
baptism came along with John the Baptist. He was baptizing people. Matter of fact, John the Baptist was baptizing people before he even came in contact with Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Or rather, I say, you know, he was a predecessor because the disciples came to Jesus and said, "This man John, he's baptizing people in your name." And he was like, basically, let him do what he do. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying, that's what he's doing. Hey, let him do what he do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but he was baptizing people before that too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know who he was baptizing them in the name of then, but however, according to the Bible, he baptized them in the name of Jesus Christ, not the name of Allah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but that would make sense, being that wasn't even part of their original tradition. We're not talking about if the Messiah came along. We're talking about whether or not that was the New Testament or the Old Testament. Like, was there a point where they said that Moses had to get baptized before he could lead the people out of Egypt? Did Dawood get baptized? Did Solomon get baptized? Did Ezra get baptized? Was there anything about them being baptized in the Old Testament?
No, I don't think so.
And Takami, what is the purpose of being baptized? Is it like to remove sins? Something like that?
Symbolic rebirth.
Yeah,
symbolic rebirth. That looks like a whole 1 hour discussion to explain. What does that even mean? Symbolic rebirth.
I mean, they did
did
say that Moses
symbolizes being reborn.
They say that Moses was drawn from the water.
Spirit.
They say Moses was drawn from the water. So I mean, was that baptism?
Because I used to be a former Christian. When you get baptized, it's supposed to remove sin, as well as it's supposed to make you a new creature in Christ.
Yeah.
So
also,
baptism never existed before Jesus?
No. You mean before John the Baptist?
No. John the Baptist, he baptized with water. Jesus baptized with the blood. They say you gotta be baptized in the blood of Christ. Under the blood, me say under the blood. Under the blood, me say under the blood. Jesus, cover me under the blood. Yeah, y'all heard that shit though? That's Pastor what's his name? Matthew Gregory or something like that. That dude is ill though. He preached some shit. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Luke.
Okay. Never mind.
Like I said, I feel like these concepts only come into question when you go through a certain narrative, the biblical narrative, and more importantly, the New Testament narrative. Because one, before that, wasn't nobody else doing that. Then here comes a group of people who didn't even walk with Christ, but are starting to associate him with certain actions and certain types of worship that weren't done before by any other prophet.
Well, that's because Jesus changed the law in the Quran and the Bible. And even though he said, I
He
can't.
changed the law in the Quran and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought the Quran out. It wasn't done after him. It was done after he had already went to Jannah. So how could he do that?
Basically, he's the beginning, the present, and the end. Jesus can do whatever he wants.
He cannot because he's just a prophet. He's not God.
No, he's not. He is God.
No,
If he could do anything he wanted to, why was he kicking the fig tree? Because it didn't have any fruit.
Why was he the only one that resurrected?
It's Eid. Why are we having these conversations? Why? You know what? This is
Muhammad didn't resurrect.
In nothing.
Moses didn't resurrect.
Of course he didn't. Of course he didn't.
We also don't call Muhammad God, so we wouldn't expect him to resurrect. But according to the Bible, God resurrected Jesus, and according to the Bible, Jesus in spirit is not God, because in the end, the slain lamb is handed the scroll from the one on the throne, and Jesus says, "Remove this cup from me." And when he says, "Remove this cup from me," if not, your will be done. God resurrected himself. We leaving that alone.
Okay.
We gonna get back. We gonna get back to this.
A whole bunch of times said he changed the law, but I thought he got his son to change the law. They asked him to fulfill it. He never changed the law. He even followed Musa laid the law. So how can you change something? He's still holding the law of Moses.
Okay. Give me a minute. I'm gonna find the verses for you. And in the Bible, it's Hebrews 7 and 12. Well, 11 and 12. You'll see where he changed the law, and you'll see how they made a man-made covenant, which was not made at the altar, which was not under the covenant of God. It's just another man saying to another man, "The Lord has sworn that you are a priest under the order of Melchizedek, and you are a priest forever." Like they was just a man-made oath, and then from there they changed the law. But Hebrews 7 and 11 says, if the Levitical priesthood was there, what then would there be a need for a new priest or a new teaching or something like that? And then it said, being that the priesthood was changed, there is a necessity also for a change of the law. What? Change of the law? And after they talk about that, they go on to talk about that man-made swear. And then all of a sudden Jesus becomes the new under the covenant of the new priest under the order of Melchizedek, and it says he shall reign forever, or his covenant shall be forever. After this man-made covenant was made. Yeah.
I heard this verse was entered into it later as a way to give church fathers some type of credit. So they had to put something in place to show that there was an order of priesthoods, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day,
yeah, they changed the Levitical priesthood to the order of Melchizedek. The Levitical priesthood was under Aaron, which was a prophet. Exodus 7 and 1, the Lord said unto Moses, "See, I have made you a god unto Pharaoh, and thy brother Aaron shall be thy prophet." And Aaron was the one who actually spoke to the Pharaoh and told him to let his people go. It wasn't Moses. And the Christians be saying, or the... Wow, what the fuck? See, one of them fucking bitches, man, kicked me out the fucking thing. See, that's why I be telling man, these dudes be having these women be the admin. Ain't nobody kicked me but one of those women. So I be telling these Muslims, man, y'all supposed to have control over y'all women. How y'all letting women come in here with their emotions, and when somebody say something they don't like, then they kick you? Like, come on, man. That's that BS, man. We was having a good conversation, a good build. Not everybody's going to see everything the same. And it was all men amongst the panel. Men speaking amongst men. Soon as a woman comes on the panel, now emotions come in. Oh, I don't like what he said. Let me kick him. Like, really? This is corny. And see, I showed how he changed it in the Bible, and I was just about to go to the Quran, and they ain't want to hear that. See what I'm saying? That's why she kicked me. Like, come on, man. Niggas be hating, man. But for the people out there to show y'all I'm not capping, I'm going to pull it up for y'all. So y'all, I'm going to show and prove why she kicked me before I had a chance to read this. And I hate that too, because I be having these verses on deck all the time. Then when I'm looking for it specifically, I'm like, God damn, where is it, man? You know what I'm saying? But anyway. So yeah, man, that's that BS right there, man. You know what I'm saying? And see, now, like I said, the Quran tells them to refer back to those prior books. But then when I go back to them prior books and start showing how there's like, oh, well, this don't seem right with that. And now I'm wrong. But the Quran is telling you to go back to these books. So how am I wrong for going back to these other books and telling you what it says in comparison with what this says? Because they don't do the comparative study. See what I'm saying? They don't do comparative study. He want to tell me about cross-referencing the Psalm. Like, really? My dude, this is what I do. Like, come on, man. See, this is what I do, man. See these books, man? Come on, man. What you think I'm doing with all of that, man? What you think is just sitting there looking pretty? Come on, man. Like, really? That's what I do. But, anyway. Alright, so let me play something for y'all real fast while I'm looking for this verse. Yes, man. Noah, let's pull up somewhere else. Y'all can hear us in one of these other panels that I'm about to go back on and get it in.
Darwin himself helped
Darwin
lay the groundwork for eugenics.
They talk about social Darwinism, evolution. I'm about to bomb that whole topic.
It was this ruthless process of elimination, not the foresight of a designer, that had propelled human beings to the top of the evolutionary ladder. But Darwin worried that modern society was now doing its best to undermine natural selection.
So they're playing
natural selection.
They're trying to play God at this point.
We build asylums for the imbecile,
now,
the maimed and the
was
sick.
it natural selection or selective breeding?
Trying to be God.
And our medical men exert their utmost skill
trying to be
save the life of everyone to the last moment. There is reason to believe that vaccination has preserved thousands who, from a weak constitution, would formerly have succumbed to smallpox. No one who has attended to the breeding of domestic animals would doubt that this must be highly injurious to the race of man. Hardly anyone is so ignorant as to allow his worst animals to breed.
A kindly man, Darwin was troubled by the implications of his theory for society. But his followers had a solution. They thought they could apply Darwinian selection
Darwinism
humanely through the science of eugenics, which became known as the self-direction of human evolution. Eugenics was eagerly embraced by America's scientific elites.
Sometimes today it's argued that eugenics was just fringe science. Just a few people believed in it. And of course we don't believe in it now. That ignores the fact that for decades,
don't believe in it now.
Was what could be called the consensus view of the scientific community.
The Eugenics Congress at the American Museum of Natural History drew scientists from America's top research institutions, including Harvard, Yale, MIT, the Smithsonian, Ohio State, UC Berkeley, and the University of Texas. Participants included inventor Alexander Graham Bell and Charles Darwin's own son, Leonard, who lashed out at the threat biological defectives posed to modern society. Scientists were welcomed to the Eugenics Congress by then-president of the American Museum of Natural History, Henry Fairfield Osborn, who had been involved in the display of Ota Benga at the Bronx Zoo. A future head of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, Osborne had become one of the most celebrated scientific champions of evolution in America. Soon he would become embroiled in a controversy with politician William Jennings Bryan over a fossilized tooth discovered in Nebraska. Osborne insisted that the tooth supplied irrefutable evidence of the existence of man-like apes in ancient North America. To his embarrassment, the tooth later turned out to be part of an extinct pig. At the Eugenics Congress, Osborne told scientists,
all right, so here we go, y'all. Finally found the verse. So now I just showed y'all how Hebrews 7 and 11 through like 20, you can read that and see how Jesus changed the law. They changed the Levitical priesthood of Moses and Aaron, or more so Aaron, because Aaron was the prophet. And they changed that priesthood to the order of Melchizedek. And they made Jesus the new priest of the order, under the order of Melchizedek. And it was a self-made, oath and all of that. All right, so now, and now this is why the girl just kicked me, because I was about to go into the Quran and show how in the Quran he changed the law as well. Now let's read this right here. This is Surah 3. This is Surah 3 and 50. It says, all right, let me go up a little bit before that. It says, surely these are signs to convey you if you are believers. I am appointed to confirm that which is before me from the Torah or Torah. So obviously this is Jesus speaking, right? Because remember Jesus said, I didn't come to change the law, but to fulfill the law, right? But obviously in Hebrews 7, 11 through 20, he changed the law. Or it was changed for him. You know what I'm saying? And to make lawful to you some of the things forbidden to you. Now listen to that. Because remember, this is why Christians be talking about, oh, we can eat pork now. All we got to do is say the grace over it. Because Jesus said it's okay. But obviously in Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 7 and 8, it tells you, thou shalt not touch the dead carcass of the swine. It is unclean unto you. Thou shalt not touch it with your hands or eat any of the parts of the body of it. You know what I'm saying? So like, what are you talking about? So obviously in the law, the Deuteronomy, the law, the Mosaic law, the Torah, they was not allowed to eat that. But now all of a sudden, they allowed to eat it. So this is why it says, I'm appointed to confirm that which is before me from the Torah and to make lawful to you some of the things forbidden to you. So wait a minute. If the Torah says it's forbidden, why would you now make it lawful? You're changing the law. Like if the law says, yo, you can't smoke weed. And then somebody came and said, yo, you can smoke weed now. That means they changed the law, right? So if you couldn't eat pork in the Old Testament, and now Jesus comes and says, well, it's okay. Just pray over it. Just pray over it in my name. And it's okay. Now, all of a sudden, it's okay now. That's a change of the law, obviously. The biblical law and the dietary law. Because obviously, it's not good for your diet. That's why the root word of diet is die. And that T is the truth, because you'll die if you don't know the truth about what you're eating. That's why they say you are what you eat. So anyway, it says, so I am appointed to confirm that which is before me from the Torah and to make lawful to you some of the things forbidden to you. I have brought you the signs from your Rab. Therefore, fear Allah and obey me. So what? Allah gave you permission to make lawful things that was unlawful? Like, really? Allah sent you to do that? Are you serious? Like, you're appointed to do that? So that means you were appointed to change the law. Because once again, remember, the Bible and Quran is about wills and trust. So if when you appoint a new, see? Come on, y'all. Come on, man. When you appoint a new person in a trust or a will, you have to draw up what's called an appointment. You have to appoint this person to this position, right? So let's go to this Hebrews chapter 7 and see what this is saying. Excuse me. Because I'll be telling people, I'm like, yo, it says Jesus was appointed a surety of a better will. What is a surety? A surety is like a trustee, someone who's liable to handle. Because they say Jesus was a banker, an accountant, and all of that, and he had the disciples out there multiplying the gold. They try to make it seem that story in Luke chapter 19 wasn't about Jesus, like Jesus was telling a story. No, that shit was about Jesus. Because right after that it says he left and ascended onto Jerusalem. That's Jesus, right? He the only one that ascended onto Jerusalem. So come on, man, stop the cap. But yeah, no, you know. But like I said, they had to change that up to make it seem like, oh, no, he was just telling a story. Get the fuck out of here. Because right after that, because in that story, it talks about how they say how he, the people didn't want to deal with him because he knew he was an austere man, laying down what he did, picking up what he did not lay down and reaping what he did not sow. And he said, and Jesus' response said, yeah, you knew I was he said, out of thy own mouth I shall curse you, you wicked servant. You knew I was an austere man, reaping what I did not sow and picking up what I did not lay down. So he admitted to the shit. So now, right after this story, after Jesus told that story, if that's the case, maybe that was a justification for the action he did right just after that. Right after he said he ascended onto Jerusalem, it says he saw two of his disciples, whatever, and he sent them to, he said, go over to the city, you know, over yonder, and you're going to see a colt tied to a tree. Go and take that colt and bring it to me. If anybody say why you're taking a colt, tell them the Lord needs it. Like, so what? Jesus, the big bad homie in the hood, he running shit. Yo, tell him the Lord needed it. You know what I'm saying? You my disciples. You down with the GDs, the God disciples. You tell him the Lord needed that. Anybody ask you why you taking that? Tell him I need it. So he telling people they're gonna take shit. Like, come on, this is organized crime, man. Trying to tell y'all, man. In Matthew 10:34, he said, think not that I have come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. So that's justice. Then he goes on and Father say, for I have come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law, and a man's foe shall be they of his own household. And he who loves mother and father more than me is not worthy of me. He who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he who does not pick up his gang symbol, the cross, and follow after big homie, and follow after me, is not worthy of me. And then you go to Luke 14:25 and 26, somewhere around there. It says how any man that cometh to me and hate not his father or mother, sister or brother, niece and nephew, son and daughter, is not worthy of me. And he who does not pick up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of. You cannot be my disciple. Part of self, he said, you cannot be my disciple in that one. So it's like, in other words, if you don't pick up this gang symbol, which is the cross, and ride with me, you can't get down with the God disciples. You can't get down with the set. So Jesus is obviously the big homie. Because listen, and I've said this in so many other things too, but I'm gonna repeat it because maybe, y'all ain't catch that video. So what do gang members do? The big homie, he makes the little homie disregard what his parents said. Like, yo, I don't care what your parents said. Fuck that curfew shit. Yo, son, you coming with us. You riding with us tonight. If you don't pick up this rag, this flag, this gang flag, and ride with us, and ride with the big homie, yo, you can't get down with the set. That's what the big homie does to the little homie. He makes him disregard his parents. So this is why I went into the thing to show how also when they say the fifth commandment says honor thy mother and thy father, right? And then how the verse says honor thy mother and thy father so the days be long on earth. So you're supposed to honor your mother and your father. So, and you're not supposed to break the commandments, right? Because that's transgression against the law of God. But when I say this verse, people will be like, well, God can do what he wants. Jesus can do what he wants. He's God. He can do whatever he want to do. Oh, so he could just change the law and break the law too? Be a hypocrite, but yet we're supposed to follow him? How do you follow somebody who... Anyway. So he said, you're supposed to honor thy mother and father, right? So remember the story about when a disciple came to Jesus and he wanted to bury his father. His father had just passed away and he wanted to bury his father. He wanted to follow with Jesus, but he needed to bury his father. And Jesus told him in reply, let the dead bury their own dead. Basically, like, man, he dead. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Like, come on, man, follow me, man. We got shit to do. Come on, we got to go. Like, yo, what happened to the passion of Christ? Why didn't he allow his disciple to honor his father so that his days will be long on the earth? Because ain't that what the commandments say? Honor thy mother and thy father. So your days be long on the earth. This man's father was just taken off the earth or just died. He's no longer on the earth, or living, rather I say. You know what I'm saying? So he no longer has the opportunity. And this man just simply wanted to honor his father. He wanted to mourn his father, honor his father. No, let the dead bury the dead. God damn. But don't it also say, see, now, oh my God, see all the contradictions? Don't it also say in one verse that God is not the God of the living, God is the God of the dead? I mean, ooh, goddamn, my bad, excuse me. God is not the God of the dead. God is the God of the living. You know what I'm saying? God is the God of the living, not the God of the dead. So, meaning that when you're alive, that's the only time you can experience God. You know what I'm saying? So, when you're dead, you dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck. Psalm 146 and 4 says, the spirit go forth, he goes back to the earth, meaning the body goes back to the earth, and in that very day his thoughts perish. Now I don't know about the thoughts perishing part, because thoughts are infinite, the mind is infinite, but maybe that consciousness that you had while you were quote unquote alive in this body, and that reality that the mind was connected to in this body, that will perish. You know what I'm saying? All right, so where was I going? So yeah, so with the breaking of the commandments, right? So basically, so with these verses I'm expressing is that he didn't let the man honor his father, so his days will be long on the earth, because that's what the commandment says. Then he tells you in Matthew 10:34 through 38, I come to set man at think not that I come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I have come to set man at variance against his father, and the daughter against the mother, daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. And a man's foe shall be they of his own household. So he came, and if you love your mother and father, son or daughter more than me, you're not worthy of me. So he basically told you to dishonor your parents, to dishonor your mother and father. Now people try to justify, like, no, he's just saying that you have to love them more. And then when it says in the Luke version that he who does not hate his father or mother, sister or brother, nephew, niece, son and daughter, and pick up his cross and follow me, you can't be my disciple. He uses the term hate. Then they try to justify, well, in Hebrew, the word hate means to love less. So that means that he loved less. You got to love your parents less than you love Christ. Get the fuck out of here. We know what the word hate means. You know what I mean? Like, perfect example. If you say something wrong against someone who is of a certain alphabet community, yeah, I know what I'm talking about, you could be sued or possibly imprisoned for a so-called hate crime, right? And we know the word hate in that sense is meaning malice, or something you did out of evil intent to harm another person. You know what I'm saying? That's hate. So when it says you got to hate your parents, hate your brother and sister, hate everybody, come on. That ain't you got to love them less. No, that means hate. Have malice toward them. Like he said, for I have come to set a man at variance. Now, what does the word variance mean in Hebrew? Y'all gonna try to justify that too? What does the word variance mean? Well, the word variance in Hebrew means, they just at odds with each other. Like they don't see eye to eye, because they don't believe in Christ. Get the fuck. Variance means y'all arguing with each other. Y'all don't say a family that prays together stays together, right? Y'all ain't praying together. Y'all ain't eating together. Y'all ain't living together. Y'all ain't at, you know what I'm saying? Y'all more than at odds. That's variance. That's like beef. You beefing with your father. The daughter is beefing with the mother. The daughter-in-law is beefing with the mother-in-law. A man's foes, his enemies, shall be they of his own household, meaning you're going to be enemies with the people in your own household. Like, that ain't about love and passion and, Jesus loves us and wants us all to come together. That ain't explaining that. What that's explaining is the fact that he's breaking the commandment of us honoring our mother and our father. Oh, and let me bring you, okay, so yeah, all right. So let me bring you to, when I say honor the mother and father, I'm going to bring you to the verse like we were just talking about in the Quran, Surah 2, Ayah 200. It says, therefore, pray when you're done with all your duties, praise Allah as you used to praise your forefathers. And in the other brother's version, it said in Islam. Before Islam. So before Islam came about, we were praising our ancestors. And if it says praise them as in the same way or as you used to praise your forefathers, then however we gave reverence to our forefathers, we give reverence to Allah the same way. So I said, how could you praise a man the same or men the same way you praise Allah? Because Allah is the men, Allah is the fathers. In the Bible, they describe the Godhead being passed down through the fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. Before Isaac passed away, he passed on a blessing to Jacob, which was the Godhead. He gave the God, Jacob became the God, basically. You know what I'm saying? The Godhead in the Garden of Eden was passed on to Adam. Adam was the God. They say Enoch walked with God. You know, Moses walked with God. They said Moses seen God, spoke to God face to face like a man speaks to his friend. They said Jacob seen God face to face and his life was preserved. But don't they say no man shall see the face of God and live? Well, Moses did. Enoch did. Adam and Eve did in the garden when it said God came walking in the cool of the day and asked them why they covering themselves and all that. They saw God, obviously. You know what I'm saying? And why did God have to ask, where are you, as if he don't know, like he's not the all-eye seeing? But anyway. And also, too, with that situation with the serpent, when they said he was building, having a congregation, and the serpent was there, too. That old wicked serpent, Satan, or whatever the fuck. They say he was there, too. And he asked them, Satan, where has that serpent, where have you been? He said, walking up and in the earth. He said, I'm tired, basically, from walking up and in the earth, to seeking who I can devour. So he told him, yeah, God, I was out there doing the wickedness that you gave me permission to do. Because, you know, God gave the devil permission to do everything he did. In fact, the devil only killed 10 people in the Bible, opposed to the millions of people the God of the Bible has killed. And those 10 people was the 7 sons and the 3 daughters of Job. Those are the 10 people that the devil killed with God's permission. Because remember the bet that God made with the devil when they were betting over it, when God was placing bets on his children's lives. I bet you can't mess with my servant Job. He's the most faithful. You can't get to him. That's my main man. He been faithful to me. You can't fuck with him. The devil was like, nah, I bet you I can. Watch. And the devil told God, he said, remove his protective hedge and he will curse his maker. You see what I'm saying? So then God of the Bible had caused all this plague to come on what are we talking about? Job, and he had boils on his skin and leprosy and whatever, all the stuff that happened. But he lost his job, lost this, lost that, all this bad stuff happened to his kids, got killed, lost his wife, all that. And he was still faithful to God. So you didn't kill this man's whole family, put this man through all this just to prove to the devil that he couldn't get to your faithful servant. Nigga, you could have just said, nigga, you can't fuck with him, and that's that. Like, come on. Just like, remember when after Cain killed his brother Abel, you put a mark on Cain and said, don't touch Cain. Anybody touch Cain, they're going to have to deal with me, basically. But you protect killers. He protects the killers, but allows killers to do harm to his faithful. Come on, stop with the bull, man. This is why this whole religious shit is a big scheme and scam shit, man. It's like, how the fuck do the God create this evil to do what it does, and then now that brings me to the lessons. Then why did God make devil? According to the lessons, the understanding God degree, upon itself. Then why did God make devil? Answer, to show forth his power, that he was all wise and righteous, that he could make a devil to rule for 6,000 years and come and destroy the devil without falling victim. That he could give the devil the power to rule for 6,000 years, then come and destroy the devil in one day without falling victim to the devil's civilization. Otherwise, the show and prove that Allah is a God, always has been, always will be. Now, the understanding I draw from that is that God made devil to show forth that he was the God, always has been, always will be. The devil spelled backwards is lived. And we know in the lessons also to understand the power degree, 35th degree to 140, that the devil has an expiration date. It expired in 1914. Why is he still here? Because the gods haven't gotten on their duty, which is taking the devil into hell in the very near future. This is what we have to do. So, because the whole concept of the Bible is like Tom and Jerry. Tom never kills Jerry, because if Tom kills Jerry, the show is over, right? So if God kills the devil, then the show is over, right? There's no more to be praying for and trying to seek salvation to save yourself from the evils of the world, because the devil ain't here no more, right? That means it's all over, right? There's no more need to go to church and pray, spend your money and keep feeding into this religious program. It all comes to an end, right? So, same thing. So when the gods take the devil into hell in the near future, in the very near future, when we get on our job and do what we're supposed to do, then we won't be going through the hell we're going through. But listen, let me end this, y'all, because I want to get to the evolution shit right here, because they right now getting indoctrinated, because I know a lot of niggas believe this dumb shit. Actually, everybody left the panel. Matter of fact, there's a couple people on the panel. But anyway, I still got to show and prove, y'all. So I'll see y'all on the next one, y'all. Peace.